It's okay, we're gonna meet him later. So basically, our meetup is actually I would say we are non-profit organizations. We host meetup every month, and we also do other stuff as well. We do Solidity study groups. We also do ZK knowledge study groups. So to our first meetup for 2023. Happy New Year's! Now I'm gonna pass my mic to Nick so he'll be telling us about the new updates in the space within the span of a month, maybe something around that. So let us have Nick here. Come here.
All right, Happy New Year, EKL. So how did you guys spend your New Year's Eve? Where did you guys go? At home? Who had it at home? Who went out to KLCC? Okay, there was no fireworks at KLCC. Oops, sorry. My bad. How many mics are there? Oh, this is okay. So for me, I spent my New Year's in Subang, and I understand why it was quite jammed, and it was the same thing actually. I celebrated New Year's in a car on the way to Summit Pyramid, so it was not the best experience. Okay, so actually a quick show of hands. For those of you who have been to our past events, who prefers AWS the most? Or essentially KL EcoCity? Okay, good show of hands. And who prefers, what was the last location? Communal Cafe in Shah Alam. Who prefers that? Okay, one person. You are awesome, sir. Thank you. Okay, and how do you guys think about Subang here? How is the place in Subang? Do you guys enjoy Subang? How many people who are from Subang? You have your offices in Subang, you stay in Subang. Yeah, then you are the same people who raise your hands. Okay, good to know. All right. Now, we're gonna go over what happens, some very interesting, which one is next? This one? Okay, yes it is. All right, so this is essentially our announcements and roundup or special events that have happened in the month of December. So our roundup is always a month, what has happened in the previous month. So this is actually for December. Okay, well this is technically today. So today, DeFi Llama actually announced that they have launched a MetaDex aggregator. So what this means for those of us who use DEXs to trade, I'm sure you all know that there are as many DEXs as there are there are as many DEXs on Ethereum, BSC, Polygon, and all that as there are rocks in the field. So the aggregators solve this problem by essentially taking all of the different DEXs and aggregating it into one price source. So it's like you going on Lazada and shopping across all the different amounts of possible shops rather than you going to them one by one. But DeFi Llama essentially has built an aggregator for aggregators. So if you are familiar with products like 1inch, has anyone used 1inch here? 1inch users, raise your hands. Okay, Kyber. No fans of Kyber, okay. What else are there? There's Matcha and all those. So essentially, DeFi Llama has built an aggregator of aggregators. So it combines essentially the best prices across, I would say, the entire chain onto this aggregator. So it's quite cool, and I definitely recommend if you do a lot of swaps, you do a lot of DeFi, this is probably the best place you can get the best prices and the best quoting you can get from. Okay, next. Last year, on December, also Uniswap announced that they have built an NFT aggregator. So who here lives, eats, and dies NFTs? You mint NFTs all day. Okay, not too many hardcore fans. But essentially NFTs have been something hot, and essentially Uniswap has picked up on the trend and decided to pick up and build an NFT aggregator. So if you've used things like OpenSea, X2Y2, looks rare, you don't need to go any further. You can essentially get them all in one place now under Uniswap single aggregator. And if you have actually used Genie before they launched this product, you are eligible for a USDC airdrop. So if you have used Genie in the past, do check out your addresses to see if they are eligible. I wouldn't say address, I think addresses, since many of you are into, it's now a common trend to use with multiple wallets. This is something that we should all be aware of and actually be careful. There is actually a new type of scam going out on where they essentially try to spoof the addresses which you are sending tokens from. So what I mean by this is, if we take a look at the transaction page here on Etherscan, I'm not sure if it's too clear. You can see on the right that you would do typical token transfers like USDT. And if you see that the addresses you send to start with, let's take the top one, 0x17. Essentially, hackers have now found a way to get similar addresses that have the same prefixes. So for example, they both start with 0x17, but actually they end with the same numbers as well. So they are very, it's very uncanny and it looks very, very similar to each other. But the difference is of course a different address, because if you look at the middle, it's a different address altogether. So now it's become a common trend where hackers essentially try to copy these addresses and they send you 0 amounts of the same token. So if you notice on the right, the value is 0. So they send you essentially no tether, so it doesn't cost them anything other than gas. But the modus operandi here is that when you try and copy this address to try and use it in a DEX or when you try and deposit, you would of course just try and copy it off in this scan and you might get the wrong address. Yeah. So being, oops, went too fast. So being for someone from Etherscan actually, I would actually show you what we've been doing. We've essentially put a small warning icon if it's been a transfer of 0 addresses. And we've also graded up so that you have far less chance of copying the wrong address. This is not foolproof. Scammers have figured out a better way. They send like 0.00000001 to overcome this problem. But we essentially, Etherscan has taken the step to try and tackle this problem by making it visually different so that you can tell apart when these are, in fact, worthless and scam transfers. All right, next, for more NFT news, for users of L2 such as Arbitrum and Optimism, I'm sure you will know that your favorite NFT platforms will be Stratos and Quixotic. They're actually built by the same team, but unfortunately they decided to shut down. I don't think they disclosed the reason, but their shutting down involves open sourcing their project. So they are, in the coming weeks, they're going to release their source code so that the community from Optimism and Arbitrum can continue to build on and grow the NFT community on the L2s. Next, which way? Is it the same? Is it? No, there's one more. Okay, there we go. All right, so how many of you here use Telegram instead of WhatsApp? Telegram users, of course, sorry. Okay, so many people would have, I'm sure you remember at some point WhatsApp had some kind of notice where you need to provide a certain X amount of information to continue using WhatsApp. So for those of you who didn't agree, you would have to go to Telegram, but you still needed a phone number. But now they've essentially eliminated the need for this. For those who don't know, Telegram actually has its own chain. Telegram also has its own token. So they recently enabled no SIM signups. So you can actually buy a SIM card NFT for Telegram, and then you can use this to sign up for Telegram now. So you don't need to reveal your phone number, your IC when you buy your SIM cards from, let's say, 7-Eleven, and the guy writes it down or something like that. Okay? So you don't need to also sign up with, let's say, Maxis, Cellcom, DG, and all that. You can entirely buy Telegram tokens anonymously, and then you can use it to sign up for Telegram. So yeah, it's a big move for privacy in terms of Telegram users. And yeah, that's something exciting. Next, go. Which? Okay, can someone manually click it? Thanks, Rafiq. There should be one more. Okay. All right, so for the last thing of 2022, for Binance users, there would be something similar to Spotify Wrapped. There's actually a Binance 2022 Wrapped, where it shows you your trading information, your trading profit and loss, if you made money with Binance, or how many tokens you traded, and so on. So for those of you who have used Binance, I'm sure you're excited to know. Personally, this is mine. Don't question the number of times I traded. It probably reveals my trading strategy. All right, so that is the roundup for December. There are a few announcements that that EKL would like to go over. Could you go back to the announcement page? So very quickly, guys, there is a list of events that are going to happen for EKL and actually in the space in general. This is what EKL has planned for up to next month, is it? Yeah, up to February. So highlighting a few different ZK study groups, hackathons, future events. One of our first workshops for 2023 is actually the Node workshop on the 14th of January. It's going to be hosted in Shah Alam, and for those of you who are interested in running your own node, you should definitely join this workshop because it's going to be an introductory workshop for those of you who want to start running your own nodes. I think the rest are, okay, it's a mixture of online and in-person events. Yes. So we also share this in the group for your reference. So yeah, plenty of things that are going to happen in January and as well as February. Cool. So now we will pass the mic on directly to Jay. Cheers. Okay.
All right, thank you for the run-up.
Now, actually, this will be the clicker, so later on you can use left and right. Yeah, cool.
You need to go to Singapore, apply for that, and they have like an accelerator for a few weeks where you can build stuff. And then I'm not sure what's I guess you got sponsored for your project. But yeah, that's really interesting as well. So now, without further ado, I'm going to invite Jake Lu. Oh yeah, wait, sorry about that. Without further ado, I'm going to invite Lisa to come in front and talk about their project. Also we need to put this.
Here.
Yes.
Can we go to page 1? Yeah, page 1. Cool. Hello, hi guys. Cool, can I start?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Hi everyone, nice to meet everyone here tonight. Just a quick introduction, my name is Brian from the Pacer team. Joined with myself, a couple of colleagues, James, Henry, and Kelvin. And I guess thanks EveKL for organizing this. So I'll just jump straight into it and explain what Pacer is and what we are doing here in KL. So Pacer is your wellness companion super app. And I guess in line with the topic today, we are a Web 2.5 company, whereby we take elements of Web 2 and Web 3 and we combine them to develop our app. And I say Web 2 because we are very focused on developing our product, which is our app, and I guess the wellness ecosystem. And in line with that, we are trying to build a lot of value for our stakeholders and users. And I guess the next part after we have developed the foundation is obviously launching the crypto or the Web 3 element. And I guess why we chose to do it this way is to build the foundation before we launch that crypto, the Web 3 element, to avoid the speculation, to kind of build where we have and then launch the product. So I guess that's why we call ourselves a Web 2.5 company. Yeah. So just to quickly run over it, I guess our vision or our mantra in the company is really to develop this wellness super app, which encompasses many aspects of a holistic wellness environment, and we leverage on aspects like gamification to create kind of stickiness, as well as to inspire and to motivate our users to develop long-term, consistent, good habits over a long period of time. And I guess with that in mind, when I say wellness ecosystem, what I mean by that is we are developing multiple pillars. And I guess our first foundation is a sleep aspect. And why we chose sleep is because we believe sleep is actually the foundation of a good wellness, holistic wellness user. Contrary to the popular belief where you say wellness, you straight away think of fitness, dieting, etc. So where we come from is we have developed a sleep tracker as our first foundation, our first pillar. And with that in mind, we've also developed our own proprietary in-house algorithm, which actually utilizes AI ML elements. So I'll just jump straight into a quick demo actually. Can I swap to the demo? Yeah, the demo will go by quite quickly because it's actually a screen recording. We couldn't do an AirPlay. So just bear with me if I go too fast. I can't pause it as I go, right? Yeah, cool. Yeah, so we're just logging in. This is our app currently in alpha. We're already on the Apple Store, but it's currently gated to kind of, we're doing a lot of testing, we're doing a lot of QA to kind of build our algorithm and our app at the moment. So yeah, so we're just logging in. As the homepage, you can see it's basically a summary of your sleep. It's an overview of all your products. Essentially, and this is a sleep homepage to allow you to start your sleep. It's going a little bit quickly, so bear with me. And essentially what you can see on this page is actually when you start your sleep. And this involves, what we're happening here is actually we are taking your data from the night. And in that mind, we've actually developed building on what I've developed on our sleep algorithm, what we've actually done is we've actually successfully trialed and built our hypothesis and developed a POC where we can actually derive your sleep states just on sound alone. I think what this really means is we can actually alleviate all the privacy concerns that are currently available, whereby some people are worried, they say their seed phrases in their sleep, right? So we kind of remove that whole element, and we are actually able to take just pinpoints and data from the night and kind of give you your sleep status and sleep states in a summary the next morning. So do you mind playing it again? Sorry, it ran through really quickly. Yeah, so actually there's actually a comprehensive sleep report in the next morning, whereby we kind of like give you the summary of your whole night's data. And we also reward you, right? So we reward you in our in-app currency called crystals, which allows you to join events, participate in social elements, as well as purchase in-app cosmetics. And if you're asking where is the Web3 element, it's here as well. Eventually, when we do launch our tokens, as well as the cryptocurrency aspect, we will be rewarding our users based on the quality of sleep they have throughout the night before. And I guess it leads on to the second or third pillars, whereby we try to introduce mindfulness, Zen, yoga, as well as walking and movement elements into our ecosystem. Yeah, it's just a very quick summary of like what we have, and we have actually integrated with third-party softwares, kind of like enhancing our machine learning algorithm. So yeah, basically it has a whole sleep report over the daily, weekly, monthly views, and I guess the big question is also, is it available for everyone to use? And long story short, yes. It's available for any Web 2 and Web 3 user. However, if you want to participate on the Web 3 side of things, similar to how it works, you just have to purchase an in-app pillow NFT and start earning the cryptocurrency. But as we believe wellness is an aspect of everyone's life, it should be free for all. And if you want to participate or partake in the Web 3 side of things, it's definitely there for you as well. Yeah, so maybe we can just swap back. Yeah, I think that's actually kind of a quick roundup of what we are today, what we have been doing, and just a quick summary of like a project that's Asian-based here in KL. A lot of teams are here in KL, and I guess we are, we're trying to build our community as well as grow the local community as well. So yeah, I mean, the last part is just a QR code. Actually, you can just download the app, you can try it out, and join our Discord community where we actually drop codes every day, allowing new users to kind of trial and move into the app. So yeah, long story short, that's what we are today, and that's what we're building. And yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. So we actually brought some goodies. As you can see, we don't really have any team merch, but we are giving out like a lot of stickers and a lot of like small appreciation tokens for everyone. So we'll just hand it out throughout the night, I guess. Yeah, thank you so much. Can I pass it back to you? Can I pass it back to you? Thanks, man. Hello. Yeah, I mean, we have them a lot. We brought like 1,000. Yeah. Hey, sick. Oh. No. I nearly stole this.
Oh, yeah. Entire screen. Right. Sorry about that. All right. Just a sec. I'm setting up some stuff. All right, thank you, Brian, for the demo just now. So we're gonna go with our next speaker, which is Jake Lu. Fun fact about Jake Lu, he's actually Malaysian, from Kelantan.
This is what?
Yes.
Hello. Hey. All right. There are a lot of people here. Awesome. So, quick intro about myself. I'm the CTO of thirdweb. And really in this talk, just want to go over what we do and how we can help you and show you a little bit of, how you could potentially use thirdweb to build your company. Awesome. And at the end of it, I have some time left for you guys to ask any questions if you have. We can go over them together, I guess. Let's try this. All right, so it works. Maybe. All right, awesome, cool. So when we look at Web3 today, I'm pretty sure many of you are aware it's kind of pretty hard to develop something and build something with Web3. And coming from, some of you may have experience building on Web2, where most of the stuff are pretty much figured out. You have the best libraries, the best framework, the best infrastructure for you to use, and all you needed to do was focus on your business logic to build whatever you needed to build. But in Web3, you kind of had to figure out all on your own, and which library to use, which framework to use, which infrastructure is the best infrastructure. And there are a lot of problems. Every blockchain that you go to, BSC, Ethereum, Polygon, they're all different in their own ways. How are you going to integrate with all of them, right? And how do you know the intricacy of it? And so the learning curve is steep, and to build something with Web3, you need to spend months of time just to get up to speed to learn how to build it. And we at thirdweb help you simplify it. And we have a lot of tools that we have built over the last few months and last year, and really simplifying all the development workflow. And I'm going to go through all of them later here. And as part of Web3 as well, most of the tools are pretty fragmented. And if you look at building a Web3 app, you have to figure out which RPC to use, which IPFS infrastructure to use. You have to figure out where to store your files, where to store your code. And there are a lot of different services that you have to sign up for, and a lot of toolings kind of fragmented all over the place. And you have to keep track of all of them yourself. And we have a more streamlined process by managing all of it for you. The moment for you writing your code and committing your code, and after that, from deployment to managing it, post-production, and understanding the behavior of it, all of those are the part that we do and we take care of, so you don't have to think about it. And how many of you here have deployed a smart contract before? Show of hands. Amazing. How many of you deploy using a private key pasted in the CLI or in your terminal? How many of you are confident that your clipboard is not read by some third-party app? All right, so just to show, there are some security issues when it comes to deploying smart contract, and nobody really think about it. And is that the best we can do? And we at thirdweb, we take a different approach for deploying a smart contract. We allow you to deploy a smart contract by connecting your wallet that you already have connected to your browser, or a hardware ledger that's connected to your browser, and deploy it to your dashboard. And I'll show you part of that as well. And so for the things that we do here, we want to make sure that it's secure as well. We take care of security for you, especially you all know, security is a big part of Web3. Every mistake is fatal. Every mistake is very costly. And just based on the number of hacks and dollar amount that's locked up or lost over the last few years, they all adds up very quickly. And so we do a hard work of getting things audited, making sure that things are secure for you so you can just build safely. All right, I haven't figured this out yet. Oh, I got it. No. All right, no. Awesome. Get back to it. So there is a complete Web3 framework. Yeah, I'm good. So what does it mean? And when you think about building an applications, you have your games or your application that you write. And then you have the blockchain, the decentralized network. And what about communicating from your application to the blockchain? And that's the in-between layer, and that's where we fit in, that's where we can help. And what we do is we build dev tools to simplify your Web3 development so that it lets you focus on building your business logic. If you're building a Web3 game, why bother figuring out the blockchain pieces? Just figure out how to build a game. Spend your time on building the game and not the blockchain infrastructure or dealing with all the complexity that comes with blockchain. And our SDK take care of that. And our development tools help with that. And infrastructure, you have to figure out which data indexing API to use. You have to figure out what's the best RPC to use. Why think of all of that? Why figure it out yourself? And so we have an all-in-one package solution for you to build without having to figure it out all yourself. And really, at the end of the day, we help you connect your applications to a decentralized network, either a blockchain or a decentralized storage network. We help you with it. Awesome. I think product value is nobody really talked about, but I think as a Web3 development framework, it's super important. And when we think about Web3, decentralization, permissionless, trustless, all of those are the core pillar of Web3. And we at thirdweb, when we build our product, we keep those in mind. And so our products, our tools are permissionless. You don't have to sign up today. You don't have to sign up on our website to use our services. You don't have to sign up to use our tools. And in fact, most of our stuff are open source. So if you don't like us or for whatever reason, feel free to fork our stuff on GitHub and make the modification that you need to and do whatever you want with it. We don't care. And really, our job is to make sure that you can build easily, faster, and safely. And everything's open source, like I said, and our licenses are very permissive, so you can do whatever you want with it. We're okay with it. Secondly, composable. And I think one of the bigger part of Web3 is the interoperability of being able to use a user interface with any smart contract. You don't have to think about, oh, I need to build my back end, my front end. You can compose you can build a front end for Uniswap, for example. Everything interoperable and everything composable. And our tool are designed in a similar fashion. We don't have the concept of vendor locked in. If you use our SDK, you don't have to worry about, oh, I have to use thirdweb contract, thirdweb dashboard, thirdweb this and that. Really just use whatever part that works the best for you. And you can pretty much choose whatever you need and use that part without having to worry about, oh, you have to use us for everything. And lastly, owned by you. And I think ownership is definitely a big part of Web3. And so everything that we do, we want to make sure that we hand over the ownership back to you. And so when you deploy a smart contract on thirdweb, you will own the smart contract. We as thirdweb or the services that you use are not going to have access to the smart contract. Who wants to wake up one day and someone else steal their money, right? No. So you fully control it, and you don't have to worry about that. So going a little into simplifying Web3 development cycles, and I think it's important for us to define what Web3 development cycles look like, right? And so, as many of you, I'm pretty sure, have built an app before. Usually, you go from idea of like, hey, what should I build? What can I build? And then you go from development to, at some point down the line, hopefully in a week or two, you go to production, right? And so usually you can kind of think of it as like you idea and then you build it. And after you build it, you can launch it, right? Launching it by going to productions. And then after that, what's next? After you launch it, you kind of want to understand what's going on. You want to manage it. You want to think about permissions. You want to think about analytics. You want to think about who uses your stuff. And so that's kind of where we fit in. We help you along the way from development to production and post that, right? And as you can see kind of the different products that we have, from contract kits to explore to SDKs to UI components to deploy, publish, dashboard. We offer a suite of tools and really to help you along the way to go to production easily. And we have contract kit for you to build smart contract. And if you were ready to go, you can use the deploy. And then when you're ready to go, cool, use dashboard to manage it, right? Everything fits nicely. So as soon as you're done writing a smart contract, as soon as you're done writing your code, everything else is kind of taken care of from there. And I'll go in more detail for each of them as well. Oh, sorry, go back. Awesome, right here. And so, like I said, I think most of the Web3 app, it all starts from this contract, right? So, when you think about what makes an application Web3, usually there is some interaction with a smart contract. Either you write it yourself or someone else wrote it, and that's fine. And it all starts from there, and that's kind of where we want to start as well. And so with smart contracts, we provide you 2 ways to get smart contracts. Well, yeah, 3 really. One, we have contract kits. What is a contract kit? How many of you write Solidity today? All right, that's a lot. Awesome. And so I'm pretty sure many of you are familiar with writing your own NFTs, for example. But there's a problem. Every time when you look up how to write your own NFT contract, usually it's missing some important feature set, right? And I think in today's industry standard, a lot of people think about delayed review. A lot of people think about some sort of more complicated claiming mechanics. All of those are generally not covered by those tutorials or those guides. But those are important important features for you to go to production, right? Those are mechanics that are useful for you as app developers. And so that's kind of where contract kit fit in. Our contract kit really is designed for people who want to build real use cases and make it easier for people to build. And so we think about hey, what are the most popular mechanics people would need, and we would build it so that when you write Solidity, you don't have to think about that. You want delay review mechanic? Amazing. Import our smart contract libraries and extend it. There you go. There you have it. And you don't have to think about writing it and getting it audited. Our contract kits are audited, and so that you don't have to worry about auditing and the 50 grand of audit costs and whatnot. And secondly, if you don't write Solidity, great, it works too. We have Explore. What is Explore? Explore is essentially comprehensive list of smart contracts that people have wrote before, and some people may have it audited, some may not, and really it's designed for you to quickly deploy it so that you don't have to write the contract yourself. So if you are doing NFT drop, there are already 1 million implementation and NFT drop contract out there. Why do you bother writing yourself and potentially have some vulnerabilities in them and pay the cost for it? That's shitty. And there must be a better way. And so what we've done was curate a list of a collection of smart contracts, and we get it audited so that you don't have to worry about security aspect of it. And really, we allow you to deploy those smart contracts with a few clicks of button, and then after that, you own the smart contract, and you can use it however you want. You don't have to worry about it. And we have NFTs contract for you to deploy today, 1155, 721. We even have ERC20, different types of NFT contracts. We have marketplace with different type of mechanics for biddings. We work with server protocols like Unlock Protocol and whatnot. And you can use their contract, you can deploy their contract through Explore, and you can also create your own governance. If you want to launch your own DAO, for example, ready to go smart contract for you to use, audited as well. And so, when it comes to starting a Web3 app, you need to start from a contract. And you can either write yourself, or you can use off-the-shelf solution on part of our product to get started, right? And not many people need their own custom solution, and so they can just use something that's readily available, audited, and go from there. Next up, after you have your contracts, the next important piece is integration, right? How does your application talk to the smart contract? And that's kind of where we have our SDKs. And our SDKs focus on being the Web3 SDK. And when you think about like most of the SDK that you're familiar with, most of them primarily only helping you talk to the blockchain or talk to the smart contract in some pretty manual way. And our SDK, does a lot more than that. And what does that mean? And our SDK, first of all, we support multiple languages that you might be using, might not be, I don't know, but we support a pretty wide range of languages, and planning to add support for more coming this year. And today we support TypeScript, JavaScript, Python, Golang, C#, Unity, and we have a few more coming up. And then really for our SDK, we're thinking about what's the best way for us to build a Web2 SDK experience and hand it to Web3 developers, right? When you're using a Web3 SDK today, you have to think about, the guest estimation. You have to think about retrying. You have to think about, error code that might not be obvious. You have to think about, nonce, transaction reordering, all of those stuff. And our SDK, we can take care of all of this problem for you. So all you need to do is just focus on business logic and let us take care of the Web3 part. We help you send a transaction, and we help you communicate to the IPFS network by providing a resolver in our SDK. And so how many of you are familiar with IPFS, gateway, resolving? Cool. And so usually with IPFS network, you have to provide your own gateway to resolve an IPFS endpoint, to resolve to an IPFS file. And our SDK take care of that, so you don't even have to think about that. You don't have to think about, which gateway should I use? Which is the best gateway? Which one's the reliable one? We just do that for you. And we also have UI components. Frankly, if you look at Web3 spaces, there are a lot of common pattern, I would say, for most of the Web3 applications. You have, Connect Wallet, for example. You have NFT renderers. There's no point of writing it yourself. You can just use, an SDK that's customizable, extensible, and to start from there. Our NFT renderer support all media types, 3D objects, HTML files, SVG. We take care of security, so you don't have to think about it again. And then there's like any images, video, file format, we take care of all that. And same with IPFS resolving. We supply a gateway, so you don't have to do the gateway stuff yourself. And then there's a Web3 button, just like a button for you to interact with blockchain very easily. Few lines of code, you don't have to, do all the manual bridge code to make sure that everything's connected. We have a React component for you to communicate to the blockchain easily. Oops, sorry. Deploy. So when we think about launch, there are two products that we have. One, deploying. And deploy is really about deploying a smart contract to the blockchain. As I kind of mentioned earlier, it all starts from a smart contract. And one, you have Contract Kit helping you writing smart contract. And second, you have Explore to help you pick a off-the-shelf, ready-to-go smart contract. And you kind of need to deploy to the blockchain, right? So for deploy, what we did was we help you version control and help you keep track of all of the smart contract deployment. And so if you deploy a smart contract, I'm pretty sure you have a notepad or Google Docs or somewhere to keeping track of your 100 addresses. We just do that in our dashboard so you don't have to manually record those. And when you deploy a smart contract, we just keep track of those automatically. And again, why doing stuff manually when we figure it out for you? And you don't have to use private keys. You connect your wallet to the dashboard, to the website, and you deploy a smart contract, the seamless experience, and you can even connect to a multi-sig wallet. So if you want to deploy your smart contract through a multi-sig, just in case, you can do that. And now, your multi-sig wallet will own the smart contract, and everything will be, secured by a multi-sig wallet. And ABIs, and I'm pretty sure when it comes to developing a Web3 app, ABI may be a pain point, right? You might be using different version of ABI, pointing to a different version of contracts and whatnot, our deploy would automatically store the ABI in the contract bytecode. And what does that mean? That means that you, as a developer, never have to deal with ABIs again. You want to interact with your contracts, you don't have to think about ABI. You want to, do whatever, build a website and just directly communicate to the contracts. Just put in the contract address, and that's pretty much it. I wouldn't have a few lines of code to show you later as well. And publishing, if you're writing a smart contract, you want a lot of developers to use it. You can publish it to our Explorer, and you can publish it so that other developers can consume it. And so we at thirdweb, we own ourselves, we are a publisher. We write smart contracts that are popular, they're demanding, and we get it audited, and then we let other developers use it. And you can do the same as well. And in fact, we have Unlock Protocol, we have WDev, and a few others that's doing this as well. All right, management. When it comes to managing smart contracts, and this really is kind of where, after development, you start thinking about, okay, I'm ready to go. We're ready to press a button. We want to go live. And user interface is very important, right? Thinking about managing your permissions, thinking about, interacting with your contract very easily, and, keeping track of, what happened. And that's kind of where our dashboard fits in. And go to thirdweb.com/dashboard. You can get a view of, all the contracts that you deployed. You can click into it. You can get a sense of, oh, what happened to this contract? You can see who interacted with it. You can see the events that's emitted from the contract, from transactions for the contract. And you can manage permissions if your contract implements, the permission spec. If your, contracts implements the EIP for royalty, you even get a nice, form for you to, change and update the settings if you want, and, same with other, configuration related stuff. And insights, and, data is important, right? Understanding how well your stuff is doing is really important. And that's kind of what the dashboard is useful for. It's really helping you understand, how well your stuff is doing and what happened, and gathering more information so you can continue learning from it and keep building for it. Infrastructure. And so previously I was just kind of going through the dev tools. There are a lot of things there, but the other stuff that I want to quickly touch on is infrastructure. Even though Web3 is the blockchain, decentralized and whatnot, unfortunately there still needs some infrastructure in place so that you can talk to the network, you can build services that's more user-friendly, right? Like the Web 2.5, for example. You might be thinking about, hey, can I take credit card as payment? Can I do in-app purchases? Sure, and that's kind of where we can help as well. We help you bridge the gap there, actually. And we provide a lot of stuff and a lot of focuses on the Web3 toolings, but we also think about user experiences. We also think about the Web2 scale infrastructure and how can we deliver that and package that for developers. And so when it comes to building a production-ready for scale Web3 app, we take care of all of those UX needs, all the scaling needs for you, and you don't have to worry about those things yourself. You don't have to navigate those things yourself. We work with a few indexing partners, and really, what that means is for you to quickly access blockchain data, cheaply and fast, and it's going to be reliable. We're going to do data quality assurance stuff, and one of the biggest problems with data indexing is, how do you know the data is correct, right? And so those are the things that we focus on, and making sure that you as developers don't have to deal with those pain points. And fiat on-ramp, right? We're going to work with all of the fiat on-ramp providers to provide fiat on-ramp, capabilities and services to you. And so for you, from your point of view, one line of code to integrate into your application, and that's all you need. And obviously, you need to do your KYB and KYC stuff, but that's not us. Storage. Storage is a big part of Web3, especially decentralized storage. There are just a lot of information out there that can't possibly be stored on a blockchain. It's going to be too expensive. And decentralized storage network is a way to solve that problem. And integration with file IPFS, and other networks can help with that. And so our SDKs and the way that we think about Web3 SDK, our Web3 SDK, we think of all of those problem set kind of together. And so our Web3 SDK, that's one thing that's different is that we really come from this, hey, as a builders, as a developer, I want to build a production ready app. How can I do it, right? We're not, we think of everything kind of in a comprehensive way, and really just want to hand you the box for you to build. Gasless relayer. And when it comes to building a seamless and smooth user experience application, gas is one of the big pain points, right? Like, hey, you want to onboard next million of users to Web3, you want them to pay gas every transaction, and that's just not going to work. And so gasless relayer is a way to solve that by subsidizing or paying for other people's gas, and then you can figure out how to fill in the money yourself. But we provide you a way to do that, and we work with different services to provide that capabilities. And then there's auth and wallet as well. I'm running a little quick because I think we're a little short on time. But I think that's pretty much kind of our product, and a little brands and names that use our product. We work with a lot of different companies in space. We work with major Web2 brands, Web3 brands, and we have a lot of companies on different part of just their Web3 projects. And then I want to quickly show you a few screenshots of how this all fit together. I was going to do a live demo, but I don't think I can pull it off, so I took a screenshot instead. All right, I'm going to voice over this. Building a Web3 app. Like I said earlier, it all start from a smart contract. Do you want to be your own smart contract using a contract kit, or you want to just use a audited smart contract, off-the-shelf solution, so you don't have to write a contract yourself? Either option works. You click into one, and the next step you have. So let's say you don't want to write Solidity, and you want to just use off-the-shelf solution. You can go to thirdweb.com/explore. Also, all of this is documented, so I'm just not gonna. I'll tell you later. And you can go to Explore and you can find a contract for your use case. So let's say you want to build a NFT collection, NFT drops. Cool. Click into NFT drops. The next thing that you're going to see is deploy. And you fill in all the information that's needed. You connect your wallet to the website. You can click deploy now. And obviously, you can select different chain here. Now I selected Goerli testnet. And next up, there you go. And now I deployed a NFT collections contract. It's called Colored Shapes, and the description is enter the description for your collections here. And then you will see a contract address on the top left side. And then you can see Explorer. And Explorer really is just, hey, I want to quickly interact with the smart contract. You can do it right here. Click into each function, you can run it, you can put in the parameters that you need, that you want. And so, thinking about just quick and easy way to interact with smart contract, you can just do it through the dashboard over here. And you can see there are a lot of different things. Events, for you to understand what's going on for your smart contract, right? Like, who claimed NFTs, and when did they do it? Click into it, you get all the information there. NFTs, I think I have a screenshot for it. One second. Oh, no. I think I lost it. Give me 1 second. Let me speed run real quick. Let me make sure something, oh, cool. I put it in the end. All right, NFTs. And so, after you deploy a smart contract, you might be curious about how do you upload the media to the contract, right? We have a button for you to click on it, drop the JSON file, the CSV, or whatever you want, or whatever we support, and you can upload all of this stuff, and we help you pin it on IPFS, so you don't have to worry about it. And there you go. Now you have the tokens. And if you try to time yourself doing this, you should be able to do it in less than 5 minutes. So try it. And then you have permissions, right? So when it comes to building a secure smart contract, you might be access control is a big part, right? Making sure that nobody else can mint on a smart contract. You can then revoke it, right? Remove a role on the minter role. Then nobody can mint any more tokens. You can remove yourself from the admin if you want. or you can add more people, right? So if you're working in a team environment, this is important. You can then add and remove people from the contract. This is a very quick and easy way. You don't have to write scripts. You don't have to worry that you put in the wrong value. We do all the input validation for you. And then, oh, 1 second. And then let me show you some code. So after you deploy a smart contract, you're like, okay, great. Let's build an application. Well, I want to build a fancy website. You go next. This is the way to get started. So one command line. We help you spin up a starter project, a React project. We have a lot of different selection for you. And so, depending on your use case, you might already have a project set up, so this might not be relevant for you. But in case you don't, right? And you can use our command line tools to get started very quickly. And then there's a lot of options there that you pick from, whatever works best for you. And you select the chain that your contract is deployed on. The reason why we have this, because how many of you, connected your wallet to the wrong network and then, couldn't figure out what's going on, because your transaction is not going to the right contract, right chain. This is a way to solve that, right? So just tell us which blockchain you want to talk to and intend to talk to. And if you're developing, Goerli is a choice, I think, for most people, but figure it out yourself. So, how many of you write React here? No? Awesome, everyone. Cool. So, like I said earlier, you don't have to think about APIs, right? Because we figured out a way to do it so you don't have to. And so, when you're interacting with your contract in React, in Web, or in JavaScript, TypeScript, Go, whatever, using our SDK, all you needed to do is put in your contract address, and and that's it. No APIs. Don't have to worry about the JSONs. Don't have to worry about where to store it. And that's all you need to do to access your smart contract. And from there, you can read from it. I know this is a long code, but quickly. This is a way to start talking to your smart contract. Say, hey, I want to get all NFTs. You call this function. And lastly, you have NFT renderer. Really 3 lines of code, and there's just a lot of syntax and boilerplate code. So 1 line of code to get a contract, the second line of code to get all the NFTs off the contract, and third line of code, this is to render it. So now what this means is if your token is HTML5 game, the NFT renderer will render it. If it is a video or images or whatever, audio, we figure it out and we render it for you. And so you don't have to do it if else, the type checking and all of those things yourself. Our renderer take care of it for you. So if you want to, let's say, do a mint button, you have a fancy website that you have built, you want to have one button to call the mint function. This is all you need to do in React. So we have a Web3 button, tell us which address, and what do you want to do? And so in this case, we said, oh, I want to call my contract, I want to call the mint function. And you can supply the metadata. Say, I want to mint a hello world token with this image URL. That's all you go. And this is the mint NFT text. And we take care of wallet connection for you. And so you don't have to think about, hey, is this person on the right network? Don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about, what if this person, sorry, lost my train of thought. But anyway, so we take care of wallet connections so you don't have to. We help automatically prompt them to switch to the right network for them. And we take, if they don't have money for gas and whatnot, we also prompt a nice dollar for them. So we take care of wallet connections. All you need to do, just tell a code, what to do when it comes to interacting with the smart contract on the blockchain. And this is, like I said, this is the managing the web part. And so like minting a token, if you want to burn, you want to claim, you want to transfer, you can click on the token and, all of it should be right there. And I think that's pretty much it. And so, like I said, most of the stuff are on here. So portal.thirdweb.com is a learning portal. There's a lot of documentation and resources for you to learn what to do, what to build, how to do them. And that's the Twitter handle and Discord. So we are very active on Discord. So if you have any questions that you ran into or you just want to brainstorm, feel free to dump it into our Discord. Someone will respond to you. I will chat with you. We'll find you. And any random question that you may have. And that's my Twitter handle, and that's my email in case I'm interested. I don't think so, but that's it.
All right, thanks, Jake. So now we're gonna start our Q&A session. So first thing first, I'm gonna open the question to the floor first, and then I'm gonna rotate to the notes that we shared to our Telegram group as well. So anyone, do you guys have any question to ask to Jake before we start eating our pizza after this? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. All right. Maybe we can start with that first. Yeah, Jay, before we go with the Q&A, maybe you can talk a bit about yourself. What did you do before coming to thirdweb and everything?
All right, so I am a software engineer before started thirdweb, and like I said, I'm born and raised in Malaysia, Kelantan. If you don't know where that is, it's north. And yeah, so after I think when I was 17, post 17, I went to the United States for school, and so I attended school there, and then got a job and worked as a software engineer for a few years. Company got acquired, and went to work at Twitch for a little bit, for I think 2 years. So if you, by any chance, use the Twitch app and try to do live streaming on mobile, I built some of those. And after that, I got bored. And when I got bored, I just started to do random stuff and discover Web3. Web3 is interesting, right? Like, the future it promises. And that's what we're all excited about, and that's why we're here building. But quickly realized that it was pretty hard to do things. Trying to do a basic thing took me 2 weeks to figure it out, versus like trying to build a website and trying to get production. I could have done it in 15 minutes. And so something was wrong, and figured something needed to be changed. And so, just kind of building and, just solving my own pain point and problems and trying to simplify the development workflow. And, slowly, step by step, and got to where we are, I guess.
Nice.
Yeah.
I can see how you built the platform to be super intuitive, even for developers.
Yeah.
And I can see that, also I realized that thirdweb is like really new. And I have another question from my side, actually. How do you guys come up with these features really fast, though? I remember like every month, every week, it's like always something new. There's always new features coming. How do you manage to do the expectations of doing that, and also how do you manage to push all of those things?
So when it comes to building product, there are some philosophies or some framework that I have learned in the past at a different company, at Bibo. When it comes to building something, I think focus is really important. And so what it means is, figuring out what's the biggest problem that, you're solving, right? Mm-hmm. All right, so today is Tuesday, it's the start of the week. So today's Wednesday? I don't know. So today is the start of the week. You're gonna come in, you're gonna think about what's the most important and most impactful thing that you could do for the week. One thing. And ask yourself that question every week. And when it comes to solutioning for solving that problem, now you need to challenge yourself. And that's kind of where you need to think creatively. And think about what's the 1 hour solution. Think about what's the 1 day solution. And think about what's the 1 week solution. And if it's a 1 week solution, you immediately cross it off. So to say, push it out. And you want to focus on shorter term solution. You want to focus on quicker solution. And it may not be perfect, and that's fine. You have a lot more time to figure it out later. Mm-hmm. But really, solving the biggest problem one at a time, and really focus and align the team on. And that's kind of how we got this far this quickly, I guess.
Oh, okay, that's cool. That's a pretty cool answer. Okay, do we have any question from the floor? Otherwise, I'll open up the note. Okay, we have a few questions actually from our viewers watching us live. Let me open it up. So I guess I'll go with shorter ones. All right, to help make the Web3 experience more seamless, do you have an interface where people can log in, create wallet to interact via their social accounts, like Facebook or Google, instead of a MetaMask wallet? And how does thirdweb make money? So those are two questions in one.
All right. Let me take on the first one first. All right. So today we don't offer a wallet solution. We work with, our SDK work with all of this Web3 wallet provider, SDKs, for example. So if you want, you can use Magic Link, you can use Web3 Auth, you can use Paper Wallet. There are plenty of other solutions out there. We are working on something that will potentially make it easier to integrate. But today you would have to use different services for that. But you can use it alongside with our SDK. And we even have tutorials and guides to do them. So if you go on, I think blog.thirdweb.com/guides, you should be able to search social wallet or social login. You should see an article or blog post about how to do them, how to make it happen, I guess. Second question. Money. Today we are free completely. We currently are not focusing on monetizing, at least not in a shorter term. What we really care about at this point is to build amazing product that everyone want to use. And now, I know that doesn't sound promising to you. Maybe next day you wake up and you might be charged for like 50K or whatever. That's not sustainable. But one thing we know for a fact, or for sure, is that our core platform is going to be free. And so the thing that you will be able to use today, everything out there that's available, all of this will be free. And the way that we make money is we're going to start selling services and support for, not services, sorry, really just support SLAs. And so when you're a big team or enterprise or customers, you care about having someone to talk to. You want to talk to our team. You want a shorter response time. That's kind of where we can potentially sell some packages out there. Like I said, nothing's really certain, and but one thing we know for sure is that we're not going to make our core platform to be paid plan or something. So everything that you see out there, everything that you use will be free, and we'll give you enough time to kind of react to it in case we make any changes. And I think infrastructure services is kind of where we'll start in the future. But again, you're not going to get affected by it if you use what's out there today.
Wow, okay. Thirdweb was my bread and butter for some time. Whenever I had like a freelance job for doing the smart contract development, I would usually go to Thirdweb.
Amazing, appreciate it. And if you need help, just reach out to us in our Discord. We'll respond to you.
Yeah,
we'll
you
help
guys
you with
respond really fast. It's always a day or two, something like that. I mean, it's always helpful. And another question from Zach. Zach has a few questions actually. Are we able to integrate all those functions into our own D-app for our clients and users to utilize it as well? That's the first one. Also, are we able to alter the SDK to suit our client users? Second, I guess only, okay, I'll give you two
okay.
questions.
I'm not sure if I remember the first one, but I'm just going to say yes. So our stuff is completely open source, and you can really do whatever you want with it. You can really fork it and then pull in the changes as you need it, or make any modification that you see fit. Second, because our stuff is open source, you can always upstream contribute back to us, and we'll review it, we'll accept it, and that's kind of the open source community that we're building as well. And so, if Zach, if you want to do, just like integrate the SDK to your client's project or whatever, feel free and feel comfortable to. Like I said, the license is pretty permissive, and the code is open source. You don't have to worry about anything there. I don't think there's any legal or any issues. You should be able to do whatever you want, and feel free to just use it, and then
All right. Another one. Are we also able to integrate some smart contracts that can be deployable through the contract kit via the SDK on our D-apps?
Oh, yes. I forgot to touch on it. Everything that you interact with, every button on our website, so like deploying a smart contract, getting a list of the contract that you have deployed, getting a list of contracts that you can deploy. All of those are also available in code in SDK. And so if you want to build your own dashboard or your own website using our SDK, go ahead, feel free. And that's kind of how we set it up. And that's kind of the composable nature of it. And just plug and play whatever that works for you. And so yes, you can deploy a smart contract using SDK, and yeah.
Nice, nice. Okay, another question. Can you demo how thirdweb works on real use cases like Shopify?
Yes. If you go to thirdweb.com/solutions/commerce, I believe, or if you go to thirdweb.com on the top right, you should see a solution and click on it. You should see Commerce Kit, and in that page, you should get more information about how to integrate Shopify with thirdweb and what you can do with it. And we have more content and product integration that we're going to be doing later this quarter.
All right. So, you have a question. All right. I guess you need to put this thing as well.
Yeah, hi. If someone is developing using OpenZeppelin and hard hat, like the content development, and after that he want to utilize the third web, then how flexible third web in that context?
That's kind of how it is set up. So you can write contract in your own ways using OpenZeppelin or whatever, using Forge or Hardhat, whatever that you're comfortable with. The moment when you want to deploy it, what happens is, we have a CLI that lets you call, so like npx thirdweb deploy, and we would detect which project was used to write the smart contract, and we'll compile it, and we would then help you with the deployment process. So, our deploy product works with Forge, works with Hardhat, and works with OpenZeppelin or not, works with Contract Kit or not. Those are all really when it comes down to it. If it's a smart contract, we'll get it to a blockchain for you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? I guess I'll go with the last question that we have. So the last question would be, any plans to integrate ChatGPT?
I'll leave it up to you to do it.
All right, I guess that's all. Do you guys have any questions? If not, then we'll get to our pizza then. Thank you, Jake.
Thank you.
Oh yeah. We're gonna take a group picture here. If you guys can come up here, and then we take a big group picture with everyone before we go and eat or dinner. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Jake.